Don't worry, honey. I'm here.
Eat grilled chicken.
Look what you guys created. This is all because of you guys. You guys created this. You guys lied to me. Y'all troll me every fucking day. Y'all don't know the shit that I'm going through.